Right now on the story, we're awaiting an update from the White House briefing room. This comes as House Oversight Republicans now say they have a lot of questions about alias email accounts President Biden used during the Obama administration. The National Archives confirms the existence of over 5,000 emails in which then Vice President Biden used a pseudonym to conduct official business. The New York Post reports an aide used one of the alias accounts to send Hunter Biden his dad's daily schedule. This included information at the time about a call with Ukraine's president. This at the same time as Hunter was serving on the board of Ukrainian energy company Burisma. So Republicans are now demanding the National Archives turn those emails over in the interest of public transparency. So let's bring in House Oversight Committee member, South Carolina Republican Nancy Mace. Congresswoman, thanks for being with me this afternoon. I want to make sure that I understand the fundamental issue that the committee has right now with this tranche of newly discovered emails. It seems to me that the biggest grievance is with the timing. The emails coincide, time when President Biden was serving as vice president, managing the U.S.-Ukraine bilateral relationship at the same time as his son was taking in money from a Ukrainian energy company. It's the fact that the timing is at the crux of this. Is that right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's just the start of it. And thank you, Jillian, for having me on this afternoon. President Biden has thrown his country under the bus, and he's been forced to lie about his activities with his son, Hunter, and his son's businesses every time he's been asked about it. And all this could be cleared up if Hunter Biden and Joe Biden wanted to come to the Oversight Committee and testify before our committee under oath. But we have to get access to these emails. The president will not answer the questions, and when he does, he lies about it. We want to make sure that we have all the information. The DOJ has not done their job with an investigation, and it's our job to do their job for them at this point because of the way things are going. And every time we turn over a stone, we look under the rug, we look under a rock, we find more evidence of potential bribery, money laundering, et cetera, and none of it happens without Joe Biden.
I understand that the National Archive has not yet complied with Chairman Comer's request to get the actual unredacted text of these emails, but has the archive said to the committee that they're not going to do that, they don't plan to do that in the future, or is that possibility still on the table, they could come through?
I have not heard confirmation one way or the other, but we're talking about over 5,000 emails. And if Joe Biden with a pseudonym, if Joe Biden did nothing wrong, why lie about it? If Joe Biden did nothing wrong, why use a pseudonym? Why use all these fake emails to conduct business potentially with his family members who are raking in tens of millions of dollars, if not more? And I want to tell you, Jillian, these emails are very important, but the bank records are even equally or more important, because this would show all the layering that was happening, where the money was going, where it was coming from, and would confirm the things that we saw in the suspicious activity reports with the Treasury. And the amount of money that we're talking about here is staggering. I mean, it's mind-blowing the kind of things that were happening according to the SARS reports that we then need to verify via email, via these pseudonyms, via the bank records, all of the things. We need to get our hands on it.
Isn't it the case, Congresswoman, that prior presidents over the last couple of decades, modern presidents who have used email, have widely adopted the practice of using these alias email accounts so that they can sort of conduct personal business? They can talk to their, their friends and family outside the Oval Office?
I don't have the history of it. I do know that other agency heads have done that. We saw Hillary Rodham Clinton do that in the past. I wouldn't be surprised by that at all. I mean, I sometimes use a pseudonym when I'm having things shipped to my house so I can keep my home address, safe from prying eyes. But I totally get that. But this is a man who has lied to media. He's not been honest with the business within his family. He denied his son was doing business with China, ended up that he was. There are grandchildren that have a lot of money from communist countries like China that we've seen in the suspicious activity reports. There are just a lot of unanswered questions right now, and I do believe that those emails would give us some answers.
Before I let you go, Congresswoman, I want to check in with you about your district. I know that parts, at least, were hit. All of Florida has been impacted, by the storm. But how are your constituents doing?
It is sunny. We're at the beach right now, and I see sunshine and no rain. We did have several thousand lose power. Their power is largely back on. The thing that was different with this storm is we had a number of tornadoes that touched down yesterday afternoon before the hurricane even got here. But we have no fatalities. Folks are safe, and our community is already, for the most part, cleaned up. We're very grateful that we dodged a bullet here today.
That's probably our best news of the hour. We're very glad to hear it. Thanks so much, Congresswoman, for taking
Thank you,
time with
Jillian,
us.
so much. Yeah, thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.